Hey guys, Thrashy here. Today we're talking about the Master of the Destructo Disc, Krillin. Let's get into it right now. Okay, so I call Krillin a ranged support unit. He is a ranged type unit. He does reasonably good blast damage, but he really shines in his support abilities. So let's go ahead and open up his abilities and take a look at him real quick. The real reason that I think he is a great unit is this main ability right here. It restores ally health 20%, so it's a slightly smaller heal than Piccolo's, 20% instead of 25. But here's the huge thing, it cancels attribute downgrades. So if your opponent has been doing things like reducing your key damage, increasing the damage you take, doing anything that downgrades your attributes in some way, he will cancel that completely. The other big thing, it's not massive because it doesn't last for a super long time, but it does make a difference, is he reduces opponent key regen to nothing for 5 timer counts. That's not minuscule for sure. And then the next thing to look at is his Z ability. He does fit on most teams. He's a very, very versatile unit. The only real team this helps with is a mono blue team, and I will go over a mono blue team that he's meant to fit on in just a minute. The two other big things, he gets a bonus 25% to the amount that he heals to himself when Goku's on the team. So a lot of people are trying to understand exactly how this works. What this means is he's not going to get another 25% heal. When he heals, he will heal himself for 45% if Goku's on the team. So it's a pretty decent idea to have Goku on your team. And then the last one is he gets 15% damage whenever a character is switched. So whenever someone vanishing steps and switches in a new character, he's going to get a 15% damage buff for 10 timer count. So that's big, and I have not tested this, but I'm pretty sure it does stack. So if you got someone who's vanishing stepping really quickly, he can buff up to fairly reasonable amounts of damage. But like I said before, his damage is not really why he's an amazing unit. He has reasonable damage, but it's this other stuff that I'm talking about. So let's go look at his arts real quick. Two big things here. Solar Flare increases his blast damage by another 20% for 20 timer counts. That's a pretty long buff. The big thing to mention here is you can't use it at long range. So you have to either be medium range or melee range on someone in order to get the Solar Flare to work. And then the other thing is Diffusion Blast. This is another one of those AoE abilities where you can't be at long range, you have to be up close to someone. It is technically interruptible, so if they hit you, they'll stop it. The other thing here is the 10% critical rate for 20 timer counts. As I've said in multiple other videos, critical does not scale well right now. It's pretty much a non-factor, so don't even really worry about that 10% critical rate. Okay, so if we go look at his stats, most of his stats are pretty subpar. He doesn't have amazing health or strike attack, but his blast attack is extremely high. He has the 3rd best blast attack in the game. His blast defense is also extremely good, and the rest of his stats, like I said, are pretty subpar. His critical is not very good, but as I've stated before, critical doesn't really matter. Completely disregard that, but he's very low on that ability if at some point they change the way critical works. And if we scroll down, one more thing to look at here, he is a ranged character, and he brings 2 strike cards, so that is kind of a forgive the play on words here, that's a strike against him. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, as far as teams that he fits on, I think Krillin is probably the most versatile unit in the game right now, in that he will fit on almost any team. I wouldn't say there are many teams, if any, where he's the absolute optimal unit. But he can fit on almost any team because of how viable the support of his special abilities over here are. Now, as far as teams that he should go on, he does fit extremely well on a mono blue team. In fact, he's almost your only option. Right now we have Broly, Spirit Bomb Goku, and Krillin. Those are the 3 that should be your 3 fighters, and the only other sparking blue unit is Pan. Pan is better now that they've added her level 1500 bonus to damage, but she shouldn't go on the mono blue team. That's not what she's there for. And Krillin does synergize extremely well with the Spirit Bomb Goku, and he does buff Broly because of his Z ability. So he does fit well on that mono blue team. As far as other teams that he's usable on, he works reasonably well on a full Android team where you run Android 17, Sparking Android 17, Sparking Android 18, and then Krillin, and that's only because he can heal Android 17 and 18 with his main ability, as well as all these other things that he can do. Normally I would say Piccolo is your best option as that 3rd unit there to give you even more tankiness, but if you don't have Piccolo, Krillin can fit extremely well. There are other options. Krillin synergizes extremely well with Super Saiyan Goku, so any type of team where you can set up Super Saiyan Goku, Krillin. Another good option is a multiple Goku team that I have seen Saiyan setup where you have Krillin and then you have Super Saiyan Goku, the Red Super Saiyan Goku, the Heart Virus Goku, and I have seen the Spirit Bomb Goku where they all go together. It gives you obviously a little more versatility in that team, so that way depending on whoever your opponent is, you can switch out the characters that you bring in to fight with you. Like I said, Krillin can fit on almost any team. So where does he sit in the meta? I would not call him absolute top tier. He's not an S tier unit, but he is at the very top of the A tier. So he's right on that edge. Now the thing is, I think he's probably going to fall off in the long run. I don't think he's going to fall off immediately. He's good for what he does. He brings a lot of things to the table that no other characters do. But I think that the things that he does bring to the table are going to slowly lose value over time as we get more and more power creep. So I don't think he's ever going to get better than he is right now near the top of the A tier, but I do think he is a very good unit. And if you guys have any other questions, throw them down in the comments. Let me know. If you like this content, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.